Hi, this is Joseph. Today is Monday. It's September 19th. In this video, I'm going to review some of the trades that I took today with the trade copier service, and I'll answer some questions. They're very good questions. So the first question that I get pretty frequently is, what markets do I trade? So I do trade Forex and I do trade US 30. I very rarely will trade oil and gold and silver. I know that they're good markets. They are. I like trading them. But just more recently, there have been so many opportunities with just the four that I'm looking at, the four primary charts that I'm looking at. So they are US 30, the pound yen, which is what you see right now on the screen, and then the pound dollar and the euro dollar. So I am watching other markets though at the same time. Like I'm watching the dollar yen, I'm watching oil, silver, things like that. But with the trade copier, I get plenty of opportunities with just those four areas, those four charts. US 30 is a pretty big mover. I'll show you my trade here in just a moment and why I took it. This one here, the pound yen, this was a pretty good trade too. I mean, it wasn't as big as a lot of the other trades that I take on this pair. I've been trading this one for a long time. I started my chat room. The very first chat room I ever opened up was back in 2007. And in 2007, I was teaching and calling out trades. I was teaching my trading system and I was calling out trades live. And then when the global financial meltdown started, 2008, 2009, we were trading the pound yen through all of that. And the carry trade was unwinding. And a lot of people were losing a lot of money. They didn't, I mean, they were all pretty much trading in one direction. And when the whole thing started to unwind, people didn't know what to do with it. So we had multiple opportunities to trade the pound yen, and I was calling out trades. And there were, I remember some weeks, one week we made 750 pips on the pound yen with three trades. Like it's a big mover. So some of the people in my chat room were calling it the beast, and we've always called it that ever since. So I like it. It's not as it doesn't move as aggressive as, like, let's say the US 30. That's one of the reasons why I like trading US 30. It's a big mover, right? It can cover a pretty big distance in a relatively short period of time. And the pound yen can do the same thing when the conditions are right. So I do keep an eye on it, but it doesn't mean that I get an opportunity to trade it at all times. That's the other thing. My primary focus is US 30. That's the trade. That's the one that I'm probably going to have a trade on every single day. It's the Forex that I look for trades later on when, let's say, US 30 is a little more quiet, or if something big is going to develop with this one. So this was a decent trade. This is a 1 hour time frame. This is all information that I was reviewing with some coaching clients last week. This move right here. So ignore that. We were looking at a 5 minute chart. This is the 1 minute. I'm sorry. This is a 1 hour chart, by the way. So this was an area of accumulation. Whether or not it holds, or whether it's redistribution and it makes a move to the downside, you've seen it on the larger time frames. If you looked at the daily time frame for this pair, you'll see that it's still more or less sideways. I mean, there are some decent opportunities, but it's just not trending the way some of the other markets are. So I've got to be really particular about my targets. So let's take a look at what I was doing here. So I was looking for signs of strength. If this is going to be some kind of a base and this is going to develop a cause for a breakout, and then for it to move to any of these expected targets up here, then number one, it's going to take a little while. Number two, I need to see signs that there's buying coming back into the market. And here you can see it right here. This is a 6 o'clock bar. So there's buying right here, closes at the high. The next bar right here. So I get in on the close of that bar right there. So this is relatively easy. Small trade, nonetheless, right? This one, it was not producing the profits that some of the other trades that I took today. So I want to give you a sense of, if you use my trade copier, what could you expect from some of these trades? Well, some of them are going to be decent trades where, we'll get like 20, 30, 40 pips. And then other times I'll be able to get 90 pips. It depends on the day. It depends on the move. It depends on what is causing it to break out and move like the way that it does to reach those targets. Again, the other primary focus for me is US 30, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But I want to show you a relatively small trade. This was not a big trade in the sense that I made a lot of pips off of this the way it can. Sometimes I can take this trade and I can make 100, 150 pips on the trade, but it depends on the setup. I can't do that every time. So I want to show you the difference. Now, something else to keep in mind. I get this question quite a bit. Am I flat, or do I hold my positions through the weekend? I am flat on the weekends, but I'm also flat at the end of every day. There are some funding companies out there one of their requirements, not all of them, but one of their requirements is that they want you to be flat at the end of the day. Now, again, you need to check with each funding company that you want to pick. I highly recommend Lark Funding. I don't recommend them because I'm an affiliate. I don't get any kickbacks or cut or commissions or anything because you buy one. I'm just promoting them because number one, they pay. They pay their monthly payouts. Number two, they have, in my opinion, along with a few other companies, but they have a very easy process for you to pass the evaluation. So that is a good thing. Nobody should be, in my opinion, especially if you don't have if you're not consistently profitable, you shouldn't be trying to pass a funded challenge within a specified period of time, like 30 or 35 days. I think that puts an unnecessary amount of pressure on the trader. Number one, they already, if they don't have a proven system, they shouldn't be doing it. But I know a lot of people will do it anyway because, in my opinion, funding companies and the funded accounts are probably one of the biggest opportunities for traders today. If you can find somebody to trade it for you, or if you learn a trading system and you're consistently profitable, I highly recommend going after a funded account because you can make so much more money. And just off of the funded account, you can live off of that. Like you could quit your full-time job, even if it's a good one, if you are consistently profitable or you're using a trade copier like mine and you find somebody who can consistently earn profits for you. So again, keep that in mind that you don't want to use a company that has a specified time limit on when you need to hit that 10% target. So again, Lark Funding doesn't have that, but Lark Funding also lets you use a trade copier for any purpose. They don't care. You can use a trade copier to copy your own trades, or you can use a trade copier to copy my trades. They don't care. They will not interfere and they will not disqualify you if you buy one of their funded accounts. I like that. And they're a good company. They're a legitimate company. They want to build their business and get that 25% cut from successful traders, even if it means on the backs of you using a trade copier. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that at all. If it makes you money, I mean, if it puts $20,000, depending on the size of trading account that you get in your bank every month, then why not? And you can then later on learn how to trade once you're consistently making money in your bank. Like you could do this hands-free. None of these trades require any of your involvement at all. And when you purchase my trade copier and you get a funded account, let's say it was with Lark Funding, we link your funded account to my trade copier for you if you don't want to do it yourself. If you have no idea how to do it, it takes 5 minutes or less, and we can link it for you right away while you watch online. Anyway, so this was a decent trade. Let's go to the next one. Bitcoin. I don't trade Bitcoin all that often. It is something that I watch every once in a while. When I see a perfect setup like today, I can't pass, right? I mean, all of us can get an opportunity, and we set this up for you. So the trade copier will execute that Bitcoin trade for you. And sometimes it's just like a setting, right? It also copies all of my stop loss settings. The trade copier is a great one. We use Social Trader Tools. If you're not familiar with it, you can Google Social Trader Tools, and they're a UK company. They just provide the trade copier. That's all they do. They don't do any trading for you. I do the trading, but we use their trade copier, and that's what we link your funded account to. It's very, very good. Haven't ever had really any problems with it. So this is Bitcoin. 1 hour time frame. Once again, let's see if I can get rid of that down there. 1 hour time frame. And here's my setup, right? We've got this move to the downside. We've got another move to the downside. Things start to shorten, slow down, sideways, sign of strength, more buying. This is my trade right here. After that bar right there, I could see that was coming right in, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it runs right into the first target. Now, the first target, I don't use Fibonacci's. You've probably noticed on some of my charts, they look kind of funny. I don't have the open. I only have the close, and I just look at bar charts. I don't use candlestick patterns. I used to do that. I started trading back in 2000. I bought all of Steve Nissen's books that I could get my hands on, and all I was doing was trading candlestick patterns, and it was a nightmare. Some of them work, some of them don't, and I didn't understand how to trade. Like I didn't understand how to read a chart. That's what my problem was. I was just trying to read candlestick patterns, and candlestick patterns will work occasionally under the right conditions, and you never know if you don't go beyond learning candlestick patterns what those ideal conditions are, what makes price move. That's what I was trying to figure out. That's what I needed to learn. And that's what I spent the last 20 years learning, is how to track the, some people will say the footprint of smart money. I use the same phrase. Sounds kind of weird, but it's true. You can track people coming in and out, retail traders. You can see who the big movers are, the big traders are that are trying to set up a move, whether it's to the downside or to the upside. And that's what I do. That's why my charts look very simple, very plain. And it's much more profitable, much more consistent than using stochastics, Fibonacci, and candlestick patterns. I did that for years, and it was kind of like win some, lose some, win some, lose some. And I was still profitable, but certainly not as profitable as I became when I learned how to strip everything off my charts, just use volume, learn how to read a bar chart, and that's it, and watch price action. Like, I know that phrase is also very vague, and I can't stand using these phrases because a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about will use them in their videos. So I apologize for saying that, but price action, well, it's just the movement, the activity, and who's behind the creation, who creates that opportunity or that movement is what I'm getting at. And a lot of people are just guessing at what causes that. So that's what you truly need to understand. Once you can understand that, everything gets really easy. And then you'll find that I think me and a lot of other people do it after a while. And my 22 years in this business is certainly nothing compared to some of the guys that I know. Some of the gentlemen that I know have been in the business 40, 50 years, and I can't wait till I get to that point. I'll be constantly learning until those days. But I've seen that over time, your charts end up getting more and more simplified, just like this. Anyway, that's a story for another video. But this was a really good trade. I mean, this was something that I just couldn't pass up. And the targets, again, that's what I was starting down this rant with the targets, is I don't use Fibonacci extension targets. I used to do that years and years and years ago, but I don't do that. It's very unreliable. Sometimes it's hit or miss. It depends on where you put your Fibonacci tool. You don't want to do that. You want to find the key levels of why or where price is likely to go, and that's it. And it'll repeat over and over and over again. This is what the big traders are looking at. They're looking for these signs and these clues if you know how to read it. I know it may seem weird if you don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a way to learn how to do this. If you're interested, you just start looking up Richard D. Wyckoff, and it'll just open up years and years and years worth of education for you. So anyway, this was going to be my first target right here, this level, which was this support level right there. That bar right there is pretty important to me. And the next level is the high of this bar right here where I'm moving my cursor. And then at that point, it's sort of trapped in that range. You can see with this bar right here that's important. It's more or less stuck in that range, and it may stay there. It could be that is the high. I know a lot of people will draw a support line. I used to do the same thing. I would just put a support line down here and a resistance line up here. And then I'd say, okay, well, if I'm going to trade a bullish, engulfing pattern or something like that, or in Morningstar, I'm going to trade it all the way back up to resistance. And then it wouldn't get up there. It wouldn't go up that high. And I'd wonder, why isn't it going any further? Well, this is part of the reason. I wasn't learning. I didn't know how to read a chart. I was just reading candlestick patterns. And again, those work under the right conditions, but I never knew what those right conditions were. That's why it fails for a lot of people. So this was a really good trade. This was much bigger, much more profitable than my pound yen trade. And then finally, I want to go to US 30. This is the daily time frame. I'm sorry. So the daily time frame, you can see the setup developing right here. This is I marked this chart up for some coaching students over the weekend. So ignore that. We're going to go over here to the 1 hour time frame. This is what I was looking at this morning that put me into this trade on US 30. So you can see here, some people would call this something like a double bottom. I mean, if you went to a 4 hour or 2 hour, it might clean a little bit more of this up. You'll get fewer candles or bars in here. Anyway, I can see here, this is a spring. This is what I call a spring. It is an area of accumulation. I've got, again, specific targets that I'm looking for to trade it right back up to. I need to see a sign of strength. I need to see buying if I'm going to be trading it, especially after the move on last week to the downside, and then after CPI on Tuesday from last week. That was also a big shock to a lot of people. I think just sitting there, the way everybody saw price for a couple of days, it was pretty shocking to see how much lower things could really go, right? So anyway, I need to see a sign of strength if I'm going to be trading in the opposite direction of the trend. And here this morning, it gave me the opportunity. This is the 1 hour chart. So I saw the setup a long ways out on the 1 hour time frame. I could see it coming down during the London session, late Asian session into support. And then here's the reversal just prior to the New York Open. And then I went to the 5 minute chart. Here on the 5 minute chart is my setup. and it's right here. So there's the spring on the 1 hour chart that I showed you just a moment ago. Here is the test. So I need some testing. Here is my sign of strength. Here, this bar right here, this is a 5-minute chart. This is right at the New York Open. This bar right here closed above everything else over here. If you look at where that close was, it wiped out all this data from 5 o'clock Eastern time. So this was definitely and very, very obvious that price was going to go nowhere but to the upside. So this was a really solid trade. And of course, I look for take profit levels. This was a decent trade. Take profit levels going back to the 1 hour time frame, and then highlighting key levels of resistance in certain bars that are likely to provide take profit levels. So another question, how many trades a day? I get that question a lot. How many trades a day? How many trades a week? That's a good question, but I can't always promise that it's going to be 3 trades. Sometimes it's just going to be 1 trade. Sometimes it's going to be 5 trades. It depends. Every day is going to provide a different number of opportunities. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that I'm really busy just looking at the 4 that I just mentioned, the US 30, occasionally Bitcoin, pound yen, euro yen, and euro dollar. So pound dollar as well. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And I know that something can happen with the dollar Canadian, let's say, if something's going on with oil and I just happen to miss it. But there are so many opportunities with these trades and these charts that I'm looking at that it can get overwhelming. I used to look at 16 different currency pairs. There's no reason to do that anymore. There's so many opportunities, and US 30 is my primary focus because it moves so far and relatively fast. Now, my stop loss, that's another good question. Stop loss. I try to keep the stop loss to about 100 points, and that is really good. But when I zero in, when I see a trade like this on the 1 hour time frame and I zero in on the 5-minute chart, this trade, I believe, had a 50 point stop loss. That's really all I needed to use. Sometimes it could be 60. So if I was to use a large stop loss on US 30, it would be 100 points. But most of the time, my trades are going to be about 60 points, 50 points, even 35 points, depending on how pinpoint accurate I can get on the 5-minute chart with a setup. It's just a matter of waiting for it. So that's for US 30. That should give you an idea of what the stop loss would be. So that's very, very small, very, very affordable. Even 100 points is relatively affordable on US 30. But again, most of them are going to be like 50, 60, 30, something like that. Now, Forex. My stop loss, I never exceed 50 to 55 pips, but I usually will use, and I can get away with using 30 pips, 20 pips, 17 pips stop loss on my Forex trades. So that should give you a pretty good idea. Again, remember, if you're going to use the trade copier to pass a funded challenge, make sure that the funding company will let you use a trade copier for any purpose, even to copy somebody else's trades. You can ask them that. I made a video, it's on my YouTube channel, and I showed a screenshot of the video, of the email that I sent in the video. I show it. There's a screenshot of the email that I sent to Lark Funding, and I asked them, I said, I just acted like I was a customer, and I said, I'm interested in buying your 100K account. Can I use, but I'm currently using a trade copier to copy another signals from another company. Can I use a trade copier on your 100K account? And, you can even ask, will you be disqualified? And they'll tell you, no, you can use a trade copier for any purpose. You can even copy someone else's trades. That's what you want. Again, if you're not consistently profitable, but you really want to get a funded account, this is the best way. Find somebody who knows how to trade consistently, who's been doing it for a long time. Use their trade copier if they offer one and copy their trades. So the trade copier will copy every trade that I show you here in this video, along with any other trade that I take. And it's instant. It's instant. And if you need any assistance connecting the trade copier, your trading account, to our trade copier, we can do that for you. Even if you've never done it before, we can do it for you. There's no extra charge. Just go to the website, click on the sign up of my website, pick one of the packages, the 4-month plan or the 8-month plan. As soon as you do that and you complete the checkout, we send you an invoice, by the way, but as soon as you complete the checkout, you're good. We give you an email with a link to the members area. You watch the video, and then we connect the account for you. We just schedule a time to connect that account for you. And from that point on, it's just a matter of however long it takes for me to find all the trade opportunities to hit that 10% target, and then you pass your evaluation. The funding company will notify you. They'll let you know that you passed, and then they'll give you your live trading account. And then you let my trades, you just continue to copy my trades. You let my trades execute trades in your live funded account for the next 30 days, and then you win a cash payout. It's that easy. You really don't have to execute any trades to make this work. I know it sounds weird, and it sounds almost too good to be true, but it really does work that way. As long as I'm going to trade, you might as well use it. And I'm going to be trading for a long time. I'm relatively young. I love trading. Trading's my passion. I do it every day. I don't have any plans or any intention of stopping anytime soon. So you should use a trade copier, get your funded account, pass the challenge, and get cash in your bank every single month. Thanks for watching.